Yeah. The internet and life have absolutely nothing to do with each other in such a weird way. There's like a hard line there. A deceptively hard line. Like it's the same way of talking to somebody online and then you like talking to them in person. Such a different vibe. Like there's an energy there that is in person and tangible. Like it's a tangible thing that exists where there's nothing with a screen. It's a 2D, like there's in the computer. They're in the computer. Like it's just the screen. Literally everything that you look at on the internet is on the same screen, the same electrical little pile. So somewhere in the world you are connecting energetically, like the information is being transferred from somebody to you, but it's indirect through a middleman that is very it's just a middleman. That's all it is. It's just a platform for that information transfer, but it's not the information, it's not the transfer, it's just a platform. And that information and that transfer becomes really finicky and gets in the way and becomes this high energy thing if the person observing it and consuming it or putting stuff into the world doesn't have enough awareness and balance and development to know that that's the case. And not to know like, okay, yeah, there's an electrical thing, so I'm going to watch these videos, but remind myself all the time that I'm looking at a screen and not people. Like, to become more of like a knowing of all I'm doing is gathering sounds and words and whatever and doing what I can with it. It's just coming in, and I can let it pass, and I'm not going to identify with anything there because then I've lost all of my ability to live, and it's just going to go. It's going to come and go. And then nothing's going to stick because I'm not going to identify with it. I'm not going to attach myself to anything. I'm not going to have those opinions and biases and whatever and let things come. It's like, wow, I didn't like that. What does that say about me? Well, I like that. What does it say about me? But to have that as like an intuitive thing is only possible when you develop the actual ability to live, which is only something you can do in your flesh and blood when you're sitting somewhere, like in your daily life, interacting with other humans. Like that's where the spiritual development, like the actual skill at living happens. It doesn't happen with knowledge and taking in information. It comes with assimilating and experiencing with it. Now, I heard somebody not long ago, I don't know where or why or something, but they said something along the lines of like, there's so much to learn from just like walking home after you like pop a tire on your bike or something that you can't get from anything else. All you're doing, like you popped a tire when you're on your way home and you had to walk home or something, and there's infinite to learn from that. How do you get that any other way but popping your tire and walking home? Or something along those lines of like, oh, I was gonna cook with this tomato sauce, but the tomato sauce has been in the fridge for so long it's moldy. Like, yeah. I mean, you can, like, there's so much to learn in that. It's just tomato sauce that molded, but that's an experience of learning that can only happen in the tangible world. And there are infinite of those. They'll always happen. It's like, oh, this thing stopped working. Oh, I can't do this. Oh, this got in the way. It's like, oh, that went really well. Or, oh, things are lined up so well. And, like, the surprises, good and bad, in all directions, happen from the day somebody's born for the rest of their whole life. And that's only in life. And the internet helps us see that it happens all over in all these different ways, but we can't if we mistake that for something that is us, rather than just more context for us to see that it is always this way, and I should live, then traps.
Yeah, and it's like people like the content. Oftentimes, that's what they would say is more authentic or more real, or like it looks, you're a real person or whatever, and it's like,
they're trying to get as close to real as possible
through the internet medium, and it's funny how it's like, well, you can't really translate that experience of a moldy tomato or whatever, or bike, tire pop through any medium, really. if it's art or painting or writing or stuff on the internet, video or whatever it is.
Even just the some funny example. We might have mentioned it on ARN like long ago, a couple of years ago. This is like an old thing, but there was a phenomenon that, and it probably still exists, where there was like a school bus or something that went to a place with hills, and the kids came from a city where everything was flat.
Right, and they couldn't walk.
Yeah, they couldn't walk up and down hills. They were just dysfunctional. They were incapable of doing so because there was no hills around, and they like anytime they go on hills, they just are on their phones or something like that. And then when they actually like walk in the wild and like go on a hike, they just could not.
Yeah, and I think it was like it was not just that they walked in a flat area, but they were walking on like concrete and things that
Right, yeah.
had no texture.
And then you get on grass with bumps and you're screwed.